Hello everyone, welcome to day 2 of our Rest and De-Stress December challenge. I'm super excited that we're focusing on yin this week myself, and actually in Arizona, despite it looking a little sunny now. It was like pretty cloudy today and pretty like lower vibrational energy, like in a good way, just like a more grounded focused day. So it feels only right to do a yin class with you all. And I felt the need to bring my cards out. So for the classes I will be guiding you through this week, I'm going to pull a card each day as well. And yeah, if something resonates with you, you might think of that mantra during our yin class, because with it being a yin class, we're going to move a lot slower. I'm going to say fewer words. We're going to hope Fielder stays napping on the couch, all the good things. So you might keep in mind a phrase, a word, a saying that comes from the card that we pull before we start our first class. And this one will focus on mostly like our lower back and our side body, so it should feel really nice. And I'm planning on giving a few variations just to ensure that you're able to get comfortable in these positions, because as mentioned, we are going to hold them. And yeah, make sure you tag Rooted Renewal on Instagram if you're doing the social media part of the challenge, and let us know how you like the classes, of course. Shoot a comment down below, and keep in touch. Keep in touch for all the other days, all the other things going on. I think we're all set. We're just going to start yoga. Okay, let's pull our little card here first. Oh, and for today, bolster and block. I would say like every day this week, it'd just be safe to have something that resembles the height and the width of these to support your practice. Okay, let's see here. Let's see. This is like one of my first card decks I've ever started like bringing into my practice and my students' practices. So it's been really nice to have. Okay. Oof. Oh my gosh. Okay. I deserve rest. Not lying. There is power in the pause. This is insanely perfect for day 2. And I truly don't think I've ever pulled this card. Wow. I deserve rest. There is power in the pause. I don't even have to say anything else. The card says it for us. Love that so much. Okay. I'll say it one more time in case we have to remember, because if you're forgetful like me, I see you. I deserve rest. There is power in the pause. Okay. So with that being said, we're going to start on our backs, and we're going to start using the bolster. So I want you to bring the bolster under your knees here. And go ahead and get comfortable, as I mentioned, lying flat on your back. You might bring the hands on top of your belly. Just simply notice the rise and fall of your breath. Or you might think of placing your hands on your rib cage and kind of notice the expansion and the contraction of each breath. And of course, you can kind of just let your hands fall to your sides, nice and natural, nice and easy. Remind yourself to roll the shoulders away with whichever position you do find yourself in. If you're wearing a clip like me, put it out of the way so you can actually lie down on your yoga mat here. It's fine. Cool. And yeah, so once you settle in, allow yourself to come back to your breath here. Let your eyes start to soften. Let your gaze either completely shut or start to find a central focus down the bridge of your nose. Relax your jaw. You might roll out the ankles for a second here. You might hear mine crack there as well. And there's something so special about just pausing, just being in these poses. So find comfort in the stillness that we'll find. Find security in the duration that will hold these poses. And bring yourself back to your breath, back to that life force here. I want you to start to practice fuller inhales through your nose. So think big, full, deep breaths. Send it all the way down to your diaphragm, down to your pelvis. Then start to let it travel up through your sides, reaching the heart space, your collarbones, crown of your head, little pause. And you'll part the lips. Try to find a gentle sigh out. We'll do 2 more just like that. Full breath in. And slow breath out. Last one here, full inhale. Nice slow exhale. Now, during our times that we will find stillness and find more quietness, I'm going to invite you to come back to your breath. So we'll use a count to 10. So I want you to think of your inhales as your first count. So inhaling through your nose would be 1. Finding that same exhale out of your nose will be 1. And you find that little pause in between that exhale and before your second inhale. That's where you count your 2. So finding your 2. Exhale 2. And so on and so forth. So you might even just say inhale 1. Find an exhale. Let yourself stay quiet for that exhale. And then inhale 2. But either way, your goal is to make it to 10. And if you notice from 1 to 10 that you drift away or you lose your count, that is okay. Simply start over and just give yourself some grace and celebrate that you recognize that you left this present moment by coming back to the one right in front of you. So allowing yourself to start that count whenever you're ready here, and we have a few more moments lying on our back. And I totally meant to mention this before we started class, but since it's more quiet in these classes, it could be nice to put on some soft music in your background as well. Now you can gently allow the counting to halt for a moment here. Simply bring your awareness back to your space, back to your breath. And I just want you to start with small movements, so rolling out your wrists, your ankles, eventually placing your hands on top, or your feet on top of your bolster here, pushing it towards the bottom of your mat space, your practice space. And finding a nice good morning stretch. So reaching those arms up overhead. You might arch that lower back here. And with as minimal effort as possible, you're going to bring your knees inside your chest. Give yourself a moment to hug, release the lower back, breathe into your tailbone. And think of allowing yourself to start to set up for a twist here. So we'll slowly enter a supine twist with both of our knees. So I want you to gently place your feet on the mat and slowly scoot your hips over towards the left a little bit. Then gradually allow your knees to drop right. And you'll extend your left arm out nice and long, allowing your gaze to follow that left arm too. So feeling that left shoulder get nice and heavy. And you might even place your right hand on top of your left thigh here to anchor down both of your knees. Try to shrug away that left shoulder, finding space from your chin to the shoulder. And then bring some intention into your breath as you feel your left side expand and contract, breathing into the back of your ribs. And again, as always, coming back to that counting technique if you need to, simply as a tool to keep you present here. Try to feel some expansion through your chest, through your collarbones for your last few breaths. And relax your jaw here. Let's find a breath together. So when you're ready, start with an exhale. Now full breath in. Open your mouth. Let it go. Now bring everything back towards center here, your gaze, your knees. Placing your hands on top of your knees, maybe on your shins, allowing your lower back to find a connection to the mat for just a moment. Allow your feet to plant here, and then guide your hips gently over towards the right. Let your knees go left, and this time we'll gaze right. Starting with noticing what needs your attention here on this side. Like for myself personally, I kind of pushed my left shoulder out from underneath me a little bit. And then I brought my knees a little bit closer towards my left elbow. And then bringing a focus to your right shoulder, drive it away from your ear. And allow your breath to fill up your right side. I said in class this past week, how much I love twists. I was like, I could live in a supine twist. Like, let me just stay here. I'll just call it the supine yin class. 15 minutes each side. But low key, actually, maybe. And notice your right rib cage. Try to envision breathing in between the spaces of each rib. And letting an exhale ground that right shoulder down. And we'll find a breath together, finding an exhale here first. A full breath in through your nose. And exhale, let that go. Gently guide yourself back to center, and this time we'll find a legs up the wall. If legs up the wall is more difficult for you or just not comfortable, I always mention or suggest rather, place your hands under your booty here so your palm is flat on the mat so you have a little elevation in your hips, and always remember to try to micro bend the knees. Oftentimes that helps if the lower back or it feels like it's taking a lot of your core to find legs up the wall. Try placing something under the hips, and your hands are always easiest because they're right here with you. We're going to bring this into a seat, but take your time. Nice and easy, press into the elbows, the forearms. And this is where I mentioned an easy seat for you. So Sukhasana pose is a comfortable seat for me, crossing through the ankles. You might feel best in a butterfly position, legs out nice and long, or you might feel best with a bolster under your seat because we're going to do a side stretch here. Then we're going to find fish pose, and that's going to take us right into Savasana. So we'll be here for a second, so I just want to make sure it's a seat that's comfortable for you. And once you do find that seat, just kind of roll through the shoulders a little bit. Wake up your sides. Heck, you might even roll out your neck. So knowing that stillness is coming our way not too shortly from here, getting out any little movements. Good. And I'm going to use my block, but if you have your bolster, you can always use a bolster as well. And we're going to place it under our right hand. Now, the further you pull this block or bolster, whatever you're using, away from you, the more intense the stretch is going to be. So always know you can bring it back closer to you as well. But either way, when you're ready, let your right hand rest. You might let that right forearm rest. And we're going to reach that left arm up overhead. Now I'm going to do my best with the mic. So reaching that left arm up overhead. Just want to make sure I'm not closing out my voice. Allowing the right forearm to catch some weight. It might be that right hand. But still engaging or thinking of that left sit bone, allowing it to ground down as it anchors down your left side. Gaze can be up or down, but do encourage the chest to pull through, the shoulders to stack, and allow that left side to lengthen out here. You might even bring your left hand to catch the nape of your neck, leaning back a little bit more. Oftentimes that can feel nice, especially since we're going to hold this for a few more deep breaths. seeing where you can encourage ease, honor the effort it takes to be here, honor the effort it just takes to be present, right? I wonder if you guys just heard that train, who knows? Good, find a nice full breath here for that left side. Nice slow exhale. Now we're gently going to come on up. I want you to take your time, roll out your neck, soften those shoulders here one more time. And we'll bring this over towards our left side. So you'll let your left hand grab the prop of your choice and going as far away as you find comfortable. It might be that left forearm, the left hand, either way, find that connection, feel grounded here. And then we'll reach that right arm up overhead. Feeling that reach, also feeling that lift, and a little push into your left forearm as you encourage that left shoulder kind of pull forward here towards the top of your mat. And coming back to our card, I deserve rest. There is power in the pause. Might catch the nape of your neck here for a couple deep breaths, allowing that right elbow to drive up towards that ceiling. And soften that right hip down. Let it melt back towards your mat. And try to find 2 more full steady breaths. And let an inhale bring you back towards center, stacking your shoulders on your hips. And let's just settle here. Shut down your eyes. Bring your hands on top of your knees. Full breath in. Slow breath out. Just because it feels so good, let's do one more. Full breath in. Slow breath out. Wonderful. If you want to shimmy the shoulders, get into the sides for a second, and we're going to set this up for our fish pose. So like I said, fish pose is going to be our last pose. I'm going to explain it here as well. And I will let you know if you want to get out of it before we find a Savasana. But if you're comfortable here, you can always just let this lead you into your Savasana as well. It's a beautiful way to open up the heart space, open up your shoulders, and soften through the neck as well. So I like to use 2 blocks. I make a T here. And this first block, it's going to go right in between your shoulder blades, so resting, or your spine's going to rest on that block rather. And the other block will be here to support your head, so catching your head. You might even have it at a higher setting like this, or you might have it at the same neutral setting as the one for your spine. That's the trouble with these classes. I get so tired, sleepy baby, that I'm like, what's words sometimes, you know? But anywho. Let's bring it on down. So that's if you use blocks. If you use a bolster, it's kind of more self-explanatory. You're just going to let it come to your sacrum, that end of your lower back right before the booty, and you'll rest on the bolster as well. But either way, take a moment to get comfortable here because it can take a few trial and errors and moving some stuff and shifting some weight. So yeah, and then once you find a comfortable position here on the blocks, let your hands fall to your sides. Legs can extend towards the back of your mat. You might even plant your feet on the mat. Explore a few different variations with the legs, and once you find one that is serving you, go ahead and rest there. And we'll enter this pose with a few steady breaths here too. So find a full breath in. Slow breath out. One more full breath in. And slow breath out. Allow yourself to quite literally melt into this pose. Feel your left shoulder, your right shoulder melting down towards the blocks, towards your mat. Feel your hips get heavy. And feel your chest expand with each breath in and out. Coming back to the counting of your breath if you need to here. encouraging yourself to stay present. Now, as mentioned, if you are finding comfort in fish pose, so if you are content with staying here for a few more minutes, you might just let this take you right into Savasana. Now, if you want to move and groove and take the blocks out of beneath you, which is totally okay, start to slowly make those movements here now, pushing into the forearms, rolling to your right side or your left side to remove these blocks, and then setting up for your Savasana that way. So taking a minute to set the tone for the most important part of any practice, really. If you're watching me, I could die in this pose, so I'm going to stay in fish pose for Savasana. But let's find one more breath before we enter Savasana. So start with an exhale. Now full breath in, full breath in. We're going to pause for 3, pause for 2, and on 1, let it go. Find your rest here. Now, if you would like to stay here a little bit longer, please just tune me out. Maybe count 10 really full, really deep breaths. But if you are needing to close out your time, you can always stay right where you are and just bring both hands on top of your heart. Remind yourself that you deserve rest, and there is power in the pause. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for slowing it down with me today. Namaste.